sarvaśaḥ
guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate
Word meaning? Please repeat. Prakṛteḥ of material nature. Kriyamāṇāni being done. Guṇaiḥ by the modes. Karmāṇi activities. Sarvaśaḥ all kinds of. ahaṅkāra-vimūḍha bewildered by false ego. ātmā the spirit soul. kartā doer. aham I. iti thus. manyate he thinks. Translation: the spirit soul, we can also repeat, the spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. The purport is very nice and it's not very big, so I'll quickly read that. Very instructive what Srila Prabhupada has written. Two persons, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Two persons, one in Kṛṣṇa consciousness and the other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Kṛṣṇa. the person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is the symptom of his nescience. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is a creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Kṛṣṇa, in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Hṛṣīkeśa, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Kṛṣṇa. Once again, Hare Krishna. So, I'd like to extend our warm welcome and gratitude to all of you for coming and attending this Sunday Feast program. And I pray to all the seniors present here, senior Vaishnavas, to bless me so that I can speak something. Even though I'm not qualified, somehow I'm being put in this position. So kindly tolerate me and please forgive any offenses that I might commit. So very beautifully, Prabhupada is once again, with his laser focus, right? As they say, laser focus. A laser light is able to go exactly in a straight line. It doesn't deviate. So when Prabhupada gives his purport, his explanations, it goes straight to the point. It goes straight. It diagnoses the issue. It diagnoses the material nature, diagnoses the problems in extremely accurate and precise way. And the last line, that's what he's saying, that factually bewildered by false ego makes us forget our eternal relationship with Kṛṣṇa, which is the complete diagnosis of our problem, our disease, and also the cure. It includes everything, this statement, right? Beautiful. Because why we are here, why we are, as they are saying, Purport is saying, by the influence of false ego, we are thinking we are the doer of activities, which is the source of all our problems. So, there's a nice story, instructive story in Srila Prabhupada's life. So, Srila Prabhupada once was walking along with his disciples. As you know, Srila Prabhupada used to take everyday morning walk. And during these morning walks, he would give very, very illuminating observations of this world. So that is one of the hallmark of Prabhupada, that he was a keen observer. And whatever he would observe in material nature, in our day-to-day life, right, he would actually diagnose it or connect it to Kṛṣṇa. He would analyze it from a Kṛṣṇa conscious perspective. It's very beautiful, his morning walks. If you get Prabhupada tapes, you can listen to that. So he was walking by, it's in US, Stowe Lake. And the lake, as you know, in US, America, it's very cold. So the lake had frozen over. The entire surface had frozen over. So Prabhupada went very close to the edge of the lake, and he took his, so the disciples were seeing, what Prabhupada is doing. He is going very close to the water, which is like frozen. And Prabhupada took his stick and he pierced. He started piercing into the ice. And he had to put his pressure, and after some time the ice broke through. And once the ice broke, immediately the water, which is low, so it's like a layer, right? Layer of ice. Under that is the water, which is becoming ice gradually. The water immediately came up like a fountain. So Prabhupada made a very beautiful observation, but the disciples were all mesmerized, not mesmerized, they were bewildered. What is Prabhupada doing? He's just, this is calm lake, he's making a hole and water is coming out. So Prabhupada, as usual, with this Kṛṣṇa consciousness, he said, the true nature of water is liquidity. But because of influence of this external atmosphere, that water has become solid. Similarly, he said, the true nature of the soul is that he is full of knowledge, he is full of happiness, and he is eternal. But because of this external atmosphere of material nature, he has forgotten his original position. Just see how nicely Prabhupada connected frozen water in a lake to our actual situation. And Prabhupada said, it is our attempt to help people come back to their original nature of understanding that they are not these bodies. They don't belong to this world. They are actually eternal spirit souls. So that is the wonderful service of Prabhupada, that he actually told us what is our true nature, what is our true duty in this life. Otherwise, we are all so bewildered, and because of our external identification, right, with this body, we are forgetting our original joyful nature. Anyone here or anyone who is always joyful? Is very, very rare, and those who are actually joyful, something like they may be taking shelter of something, but nobody can be actually originally joyful as we are in the spiritual world. So this Krishna conscious movement is meant to bring us to that situation. Now how can we actually come to that situation? How do we actually discover our original nature, which is our original nature is not, we are not the what? We are not the body, we are not controller, correct? We are not this body, we are the spirit soul. But we come to the bodily consciousness when we do what? Or when we, just now we read, when we do what?
We are the ones who are doing it.
Yes, and one more thing I mentioned just now.
Controller.
Just now I mentioned. Yeah, all correct, but just now I mentioned something. What is the root cause?
Forgetting external.
Forgetting our relationship with
Exactly. Forgetting our relationship with Krishna. What is Krishna consciousness? People say, so many people say so many things. Those who don't know what is Krishna consciousness. But Krishna consciousness, one of the simplest definition is, can someone give very, very simple definition of Krishna consciousness?
Reviving our relationship with God.
Yeah.
Okay, correct. Very, very simple, even simpler.
We are servants of Krishna.
Yes, correct. To be conscious of Krishna. That's it. In all situations, if you can see the hand of Krishna, if you can see the relationship of that thing with Krishna, if you can see the relationship of the person you are dealing with Krishna, if you see the relationship with what you have or you don't have, or your situation you are in, if you see that in relationship with Krishna, if you are conscious of Krishna, you are Krishna conscious. That's it. So we have to be very careful that when we are chanting, at least we should be conscious of Krishna. Because we are so talented that during chanting also we forget Krishna. There's a nice story in this regard. Once there was an atheist. He was very well-to-do. He had a lot of opulence, but he was a hater of God. By the way, one more thing is atheist, generally, right? We think atheist means they don't believe in God. That's very rare actually. A real atheist actually hates God. Just non-believers are very less. Atheists actually believe in God. They hate God. So there was one atheist, and next to him there was one small hut, and there was a simple lady. She was living. She was very devout. She was a great devotee. So he would be very, he wanted to break her faith in God. And she was very poor. She didn't have any much means. So what he did one day, he went and ridiculed her. He said, "See, I am an atheist, and I have so much opulence. I have everything, but you are such a poor lady, and you are a devotee. Well, how is God helping you?" So she said, "No, God is always helping me. Because of God, I have everything what I need, and I'm happy in life." So he said, "Okay, I'll prove to you that there is no God." So she didn't mind much. Then one day what he did, when it was dark in the night, he took a lot of groceries, food items, he went and kept in front of her house. And he hid himself behind a tree, and he was waiting. So in the morning, the lady came out, and she opened the door and she saw all these food items. And she was so she was full of gratitude. She immediately fell to her knees and she started praying to God, like, dear God, thank you so much. You've given me these wonderful items for my sustenance. I was having so much poverty. I was struggling. But you have sent me this without even me doing anything. Immediately this atheist jumped out. He said, caught you. You're a fool. God has not sent. I have kept this. Your God would never care for you. Then she started crying, my dear God, you're so great. My dear God, you're so great. I can't believe this. So the atheist was bewildered now. He said, what do you mean, God? I kept this. Now she was saying, oh my God, you're so great. You're so great. He said, stop this nonsense. Tell me, how is God so great? So she said, my God made an atheist bring the things I wanted to my doorstep. So the instruction in this story is that who is a devotee? So that's what it says here. The starting line, very nice purport. Two persons, one in Kṛṣṇa consciousness and other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be in the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference. So in our own life, actually, if externally we see, right, we are also working, we are also cooking, we are also having children, we are also having family. We are doing almost the same thing even that the normal non-devotees also doing, right? But there is a wide gulf of difference. And what is the difference? We are able to see Krishna's connection in everything. We are able to see, actually in a holistic way, how our what our existence is, right? So that actually makes everything like daytime. In daytime it's very easy to walk, very easy to do things. Even if there is a problem, right? In fact, you can see the problem properly. But if it's a night, pitch dark, which is what is a non-devotee's life all about, they don't know actually why, what is happening, what is the future, what is the past. They don't know anything. And they're just walking in the dark, they can't see anything. Someone gives a big whack on their back from something. And they can't see anything, right? So this is how a atheist or a non-devotee struggles in life actually. So, as a short lesson we can learn from history as to, how not to be bewildered by false ego. Because false ego means only one thing, very simple. False ego means forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa. That's it. That's where the root cause is. So there's a nice story in Kṛṣṇa's pastimes. This appears in Kṛṣṇa's story, Kṛṣṇa's Leela. It's a killing of Bhaumasura. Who is Bhaumasura? One more name is Narakasura, right? Naraka Chaturdashi. That's the day he was killed. So who is Bhaumasura actually? Anybody knows? Is a son of Bhumi Devi and Vishnu. So this is the nature of this word. You can be son of Kṛṣṇa and be a great demon. So we'll not go to the history of why this fellow became Bhaumasura. But just to give a short Bhaumasura was actually son of Kṛṣṇa, but because of bad association with one more demon, I forgot his name, he actually lost all his good qualities. Bhumi Devi is his own mother, and this fellow became a very demoniac person. And he was very powerful, being son of Kṛṣṇa. Now he started misusing his powers. So what he did, he actually he went all around the world, actually the universe, attacking various kingdoms and kidnapping all the princesses, because he wanted to, illicitly enjoy them, unfortunately, And he actually kidnapped 16,000 princesses from all across the world and the universe, in fact. And he kept them in his palace called Pragjyotishapur. So that was the city he built. And now because he had this all these princesses, he knew he was going to get The princesses have father, brother, sister, everyone, right? So they will come. So he built a very formidable wall, city of many walls. And not only that, he attacked the demigods, and then he stole the earrings of mother of demigods, Aditi, and he attacked Varuna Dev. He took away his throne, decoration of the throne, like that. So everyone were fed up with this fellow, and the princesses were terribly suffering. They are very chaste from extremely high backgrounds, and they were suffering. So they were all praying to Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa heard that prayer, and he went with Satyabhama. Satyabhama is none other than Bhumi Devi, her next incarnation. So he took the mother also. And then when he went, there were actually all the four directions, there were tremendous arrangement of military phalanx and formidable military strength. Now beyond these four directions, there was a huge body of water with very dangerous aquatics, and no one can actually penetrate that. Next to that, there were high walls with electrified fence, and beyond that there was another water body filled with poisonous gases, and then beyond that again further walls, and then much inside protected, well protected was his city, Prajyotishpur. So Kṛṣṇa, now when Kṛṣṇa comes to destroy, no one can, right? So Kṛṣṇa actually first destroyed all the outside army. He just, with his onslaught of arrows and his club, he decimated the entire army. Then he destroyed the wall, so the water body was also destroyed. Then the electrified fence, he sent his Sudarshan weapon. As you know, Sudarshana weapon is equal to millions of suns, that much power it has. So the electrified fence completely evaporated. And then he destroyed. And by this time, he started reverberating, with his conch shell. Kṛṣṇa conch shell was so powerful, he actually blew that. And when he blew that, the vibration was so powerful that all the weapons of the enemies, they broke, like disintegrated. And not only that, their bodies broke. So hearing this commotion, there was a great demon called Mura. He was one of the military heads of Bhaumasura. He was sleeping. He woke up, he came, and then he attacked with this trident, and he had a lot of power, and he had 5 heads, and he had so many arms, and very powerful fellow. And when whatever he threw, Kṛṣṇa actually, just using many times, Kṛṣṇa didn't have time to use his bow also. He would just take the arrow and throw. And the arrows were thrown with so much power and force and accuracy, they would destroy all the weapons of Bhaumasura, and they would break to pieces. So Bhaumasura actually was bewildered. Finally he came to, none of his weapons were working. Finally he came to attack Kṛṣṇa personally, and then Kṛṣṇa with his Sudarshana severed his heads. So he died, and then his 7 sons, he had sons, they also came. Kṛṣṇa destroyed all of them again with his arrows. Finally Bhaumasura came, and there was a great battle that ensued, but very soon actually Kṛṣṇa very easily killed Bhaumasura also. And then Bhumi Devi came. She brought forward Bhaumasura's son. He had a son, Bhagadatta. He was not so demoniac, so she submitted Bhagadatta to Kṛṣṇa, and she said, please forgive him, please give him life. So Kṛṣṇa said, you can be here, but don't be demoniac. And then Kṛṣṇa took all the 16,000 princesses, and then just see the kindness of Kṛṣṇa. Anyone knows who these 16,000 princesses were? His future wives. Past?
They are the Vrindavan gopis of the
No, they are not gopis. Gopis are a different set. Gopis are from the spiritual world.
Story from Ramayana.
Ramayana, yes. There is a connection with Ramayana. You know?
They are all Rishi.
Yes. So in the Dandakaranya forest, when Lord Ram was roaming, so thousands of these 16,000 princesses were rishis at that time, and when they saw Lord Ram's beauty, unmatched, exquisite beauty. They were all men and they were renunciants, but the Lord's beauty is so much. They felt a transcendental conjugal love. They felt a love which, like, as husband and wife. They were also confused. What is this? So enjoy materially, enjoy the senses. The ideas are coming from mind only. So the mind is actually always telling us, do this, don't do this. And the mind's default nature is to take us away from Kṛṣṇa. So we are also trapped in this city, right? So we have to go beyond. We have to make some endeavor to go beyond this material world to our original home. What is our original home? Abode of the Lord. Exactly. That's why we keep saying, go back to Godhead. Go home. We say two things. Go home, go back to Godhead. Which means back to Godhead is not something new. It's back. We're going back. We've come from there. Now we have to go back. And where we are going back? We're going back home. We all like to go home, provided we have a good family. So we are also actually should endeavor to go back home, which is our eternal home, where we find that ultimate joy. Now, if we don't have this, the right guidance, then we'll try to go here and there, and so you can see that it's there in human nature, right? Humans are trying to go somewhat beyond this planet also. Why that nature is there? They're sending space rockets, they're sending humans. They say they have gone to moon. We don't know. And but they're trying, right? They're trying to get out of this place. Where does that impetus come from? It is our original desire to go back to Godhead, to go beyond this material world. That's why we see all this space exploration, space projects, supersonic rockets, NASA, ISRO, everyone, right? They want to see what's beyond, what is on Mars, and can we go and live there. In fact, there is a company in China called Lunar Embassy, and they're selling real estate land on moon. You can buy. So they're saying, in the future there will be a colony in moon. If you book your land now, we'll give you first priority. There are actually people paying money for that. Because why? The desire to go is there, go beyond. But that is a wrong endeavor. So there's a NASA joke, NASA oriented joke. So few years back, NASA wanted to send a man to Mars, but they could only figure out the technology to send a person, but they didn't know how to bring him back. So it's a one-way ticket. So they advertised, whoever goes will give him whatever he wants. So three men applied. One was from America, one was from Russia, third was from India. Okay. So they gave the terms and conditions. You're going to Mars, you have to go and find out what to do there. Give us information, but you can't come back. So what do you want? So American told, okay, give me 1 million. I will go. So they told, okay. Anyway, you can't take the money there. You have to spend it here only. What you will do? They told, I will give it for scientific research. America is a very research-oriented world. So I'll give it to the scientific community for doing more advancement. I said, okay, very good, wait, let's check the others. So then they asked the Russian, how much will you charge? He said, 2 million. Oh, 2 million, okay. What you will do with 2 million? Oh, before I go, 1 million I'll give it to my country. So the Russians are very patriotic. I said, 1 more million I'll give it for all the social causes in our country. Oh, very good. Good thought. Then they asked the Indian, how much will you charge? He was, I don't know what is the reason, he was from Gujarat. He said, 3 million. Oh, 3 million? Why? What you will do with 3 million? 1 million you take. 1 million I'll keep. 1 million will give to the American and send him. So this kind of attempts of going to Mars, going to moon, it's not going to help. In fact, most of the Indians, right, going to US, America, it is the same effort. We want to escape the reality. We want to escape this situation we are in. So we think going from here to America, our situation will be better. But it is my own personal experience, and of course even the Shastra says, and the testimony of so many, that by going to America, will your problems be solved? I just was talking to my product manager. He's a Bangalorean. He went to Canada. So in Canada, the roads, the vehicles go very fast. Okay, we go at 7 kilometers per hour. They go at 70 kilometers per hour. So I asked him, so roads must be very good. He said, very good. We go very fast, 70 kilometers. I said, how long do you travel? He said, 1.5 hours. So he's gone to Canada. I travel at 70 kilometers per hour, 70 kilometers very fast, but for 1.5 hours. I travel for half an hour, so I'm better here only. So when you go here and there, right, your problems, actually the nature of your problems change, but your problems won't end. So if you go to America, maybe you will not have to deal with BBMP roads and drainage, but there will be some other problem. So if you have 3 problems here, there will be 3 or more problems in America, but different nature. So this is actually useless, trying to make material adjustments. So we have to go beyond the purview of this entire existence, which is like the Brahmanda, as we are trapped, right? We are trapped in this Brahmanda. So as you know, the entire universe is in an egg-shaped form. And the entire covering, the egg, right? That's why it's called Brahmanda. Anda is what? Egg, right? So the egg word comes from that, Brahmanda. So what is the Brahmanda made of? Just like our egg has a shell, right? The Brahmanda is made with 8 elements. The outermost is the earth element. Very thick, and it's thousands of miles thick. Earth. Next is water layer. So it's like completely layer. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. Sorry, it's the other way around. First is earth and then the other elements. So there's no way actually, whichever technology you have, you can penetrate this lakhs and lakhs of miles of material that is stocked in the Brahmanda. So we have to have a foolproof method as advised by the Supreme Lord in the scriptures. So there's one experiment they did. So this is called, this was done by a scientist called Pavlov. So what he did, so what happens is, generally what happens, when we are not able to escape, right? When we are not able to go anywhere, so then what happens, we surrender to, or we take shelter of escapism. So there's a experiment which proves this. So this scientist called Pavlov, he made one experiment. What he did, he took, these Western scientists, right? They do all kind of crazy things. So he took 2 rats, he kept them in a cage. And then he arranged 2 buttons, red button and blue button. If the rat touches the red button, it gets a shock. And if the rat touches the blue button, it gets food. Then he left the rat started going around, they were hungry, they touched the red button, got shocked. Then they got scared. Then they touched the blue button, they got food. They became happy. They ate the food nicely. Then after some time, they got used to it. They figured out, red button, they were not touching, blue button, they were eating nicely. Then after some time, he switched. Red became food, blue became shock. Then rats again went, got shock. Again got shock. Again got shock. They were going again and again. They were like, I'm sure this is going to give food. But then slowly they figured out. Oh, it has got exchanged. So like this many times he did that, and the rats actually became expert. In fact, they figured out, how to figure out which one comes like that. They were enjoying actually. They were talking to each other also. Then after some time, what he did, he opened the cage. But you know what? To surprise of the scientist, the rats never came out. They were enjoying life there. Red button, blue button, red button, blue button. Which one will you put today? They were enjoying life. Our situation is also like that. Which is the next mobile? Which car? Which movie? Movie you didn't see. Your life is a waste. If you hear that now, that day only you have to see. Life is a waste, my friend has told. First day, first show. Second day means waste. First day, first show. If you see, some special, joy comes. So, we forget actually, because we can't solve the real thing. We can't go beyond. There is no solution. Actually, we are not looking for solution in the right place. Then what happens? We take shelter of escapism. This is called escapism, where we live in this world as if, we are going to live forever, oblivious to the dangers in this world, oblivious to the uncertainties in this world, oblivious to the sufferings in this world. There is so much suffering, and I don't have to talk so much about it, right? What is everyone trying to do? Everyone is trying to be happy. But everyone is always trying to be happy. Nobody is happy. Everyone is trying to be happy. So we have a duty actually with higher consciousness to go beyond this world. So there are 3 reasons why we should actually take the scriptures and take the spiritual life seriously. What is the reason? What is the why we should take up the process of Krishna consciousness? So I'll just briefly discuss, just another 5 minutes. So first reason is that we are not 3 knots. Because there are 3 knots. First knot, and it comes in acronym ABC. First thing is, we are not animals. Okay, I'll explain what it means. Second, we are not body. So A is animals, we are not animals. B is we are not body. And C, we are not controllers. So I'll explain briefly. These 3 points should give us sufficient intelligence as to why we should take spiritual life seriously. So first thing is, we'll talk is, we are not animals. Therefore, we should take the spiritual life seriously. What does it mean? Now, as you know, animals and humans, we are different or same? After several births, we get human birth, yes. But now that we are born, is there a difference between animals and us?
Yes, animals can't pray and go into spiritual life.
Yes.
The only opportunity is in the human life, so you have to utilize the human life.
Correct. Okay, so that is the difference. What is the similarity? Everybody knows this. Anyone doesn't know? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These are the 4 activities which our animals are involved in. What are the 4 activities 90% of humans are involved in? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And we do it in a far more worse way. So it's nicely mentioned in Mahabharata. Yudhishthira Maharaj actually talks about it. He says, as Sita Mataji told, he defines that ahara, nitra, bhaya, maitunam cha. Ahara, food, nitra, sleep, bhaya, defending. Fear is for defending, or defending is for fear. Maitunam, sex life. These 4 are common. Ahara, nitra, bhaya, maitunam cha. Samanya eta Pashubher Samana. We and animals have this 4 common attributes. We are also doing the same 4, animals also doing the same 4. Dharmo itesham adhiko vishesho. But there is one speciality in humans. Dharmo itesham adhiko vishesho. Humans have the capacity and the ability to understand dharma and follow dharma. Dharme nahina. But if you don't follow dharma, Pashubher Samana. You are nothing but 2-legged animal. 2-legged, sophisticated animal. That's it. So, now, what happens is, there is higher intelligence, right, that is given to us. It's an award actually. Therefore, we can see that humans have very refined emotions. As you can see, plants, right, as the consciousness level goes down, the emotions and the perceptions are less. Plants have life. The Vedic scriptures mentioned thousands of years ago plants have life. But in modern science, they gave life to plant just 200-300 years ago. Before that, they thought there is no life in plant. And the Vedic scriptures mention that plants have life, but their consciousness is covered. They are actually not so much aware of what is happening. It is just like somebody is in coma. A coma patient actually is living, but is not aware of and he can't express. So that is what is a plant life. But humans have a blossoming consciousness. Their consciousness is blossoming. It is actually full of chetana. We have the ability to express ourselves, to question what are the higher truths, right? So now if we don't use this higher intelligence properly given by Kṛṣṇa, we are going to use that higher intelligence for these 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and we will make a mess out of our life. So, as you know, defending, we'll just take one example. Defending is, how do we defend ourselves? Insurance policy, mutual funds, what else? All of you are having keys in your pocket. Defending, what else? CCTV, right? And at a country level, bombs, guns, armies. Now, as you can see, technology has enabled such dangerous weapons that the World War Institute in Washington, based in Washington, they did a research in 1999. What they did, they actually analyzed how many humans have died from 1900 to the year 2000. 100 years, the last 100 years. They took the count of number of humans who were killed in terrorism, wars, military campaigns, and then they compared that with all the humans who have died from 1 AD to 1899. Literally 1900 years versus 100 years. And they found that more people have died in the last 100 years. What is the reason? Weapons, as they say, weapons of mass destruction. Misuse of intelligence to produce dangerous things which are unbeneficial to this world. So, we should actually use this higher intelligence, and this intelligence is actually, as you can see, this intelligence of human is actually our greatest, you can say, weapon. How does a dog defend itself? Teeth, right? All animals defend with something. How does a deer defend itself? Deer. How does a deer defend? Runs, right? It has its legs. How does a human defend himself? Higher intelligence. Now, this higher intelligence is actually what we should use to understand the Shastras, to understand this world, understand the way out of this world, to understand how to take shelter of Kṛṣṇa. This is the purpose of this intelligence. The purpose of this intelligence is not to write software code and spend all God-given energy and abilities in writing useless things for useless people. As I say, we are doing all this work for what? We are buying so many things which we don't need. We are buying all these unwanted things which we don't need with money we don't have, and to impress people we don't like anyway. So that is the tragedy of this world, that people are becoming so engrossed in these 4 activities, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, that everything in this world, all the resources, everything is being spent on this same 4 activities which the animals are also doing. And we have ended up in a big mess. Right? No one can doubt that. So that is one reason. And in the process, we have become detrimental to ourselves. Now, if you see any humans, any animal, right? An animal kills another animal only when it is threatened or when it's question of survival. But we humans were killing each other for greed. How? This entire planet is polluted because of what? Is it for our wants? Is it for food? No, it's for our greed. So we are like en masse trying to kill each other for our greed. So that's an unfortunate situation. So second, and of course, no need to talk about stress and all that. So no animal commits suicide. We are the only animal who commits suicide. Unfortunate, huh? Oh, actually we are endowed with higher intelligence. So no animal actually struggles with stress. There are so many dogs in our layout. I tell you, they are the most peaceful. And every day when I go to office now, they are sleeping. Not only me, the entire layout, all the men and now women also, they all go to office. And the dogs sleep nicely, whole day. So who's intelligent? Dog sleeps in one place, somebody goes and gives food, it eats and again goes to sleep. So they are more intelligent than us. So by just doing these 4 activities, actually we are worse than animals. So animals actually don't have any stress problem. There was one famous singer, if you know, Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, anybody knows? Yeah. He was considered the god of rock music. God, I mean, he had the entire country, all the young women were like, Kṛṣṇa had only 16,000. This fellow had the entire country at his feet, okay? So much opulence. And they were worshipping him, they would faint. So much worship, he was like God. And he had 100 Cadillac cars. 100 Cadillac cars. At that time, he was 1970s or something. Cadillac at that time was like Audi these days. And he had 100, why? Many cars were similar, just that, the tires were slightly color changed. So many cars he had. And you know how he died? Drug overdose. Drug overdose. Why? What went wrong? He had everything, right? There is so much propaganda in the media that if you do eating, sleeping, mating, defending very nicely, you will be happy. This is just propaganda. Why do I say it's propaganda? Because it is not backed by fact. In fact, it is contrary to the fact. And you can see that lives of almost all famous people, it is the same story repeating. There's a list of suicides of famous people. So one brahmachari was going through that. He got tired, so many people. Suicide. And these are famous people, billionaires. And many more who are currently in this world, famous people. Most of them are in rehabilitation center, rehabilitation. What is rehabilitation? They're trying to give up drugs. Why? Why do they need drugs? If happiness is there in money and all this, why do they need to take drugs? Why are they into addictions? Right? So we have to be observant. We have to be observant of all these things. And in fact, what's happening in this world verifies and proves what Shastras are saying. So I'll quickly end now. I think we're out of time. So second, of course, is body, right? I spoke about the body. So how we end up in depression. We are not the body. So first is we are not animals. So we have a higher intelligence, we have to use it for a higher purpose and not use that higher intelligence for a lower purpose. Then we'll make a big mess out of it, right? Second is we are not the body. So we saw that if we are the body, we are not able to enjoy, correct? That's why these famous people are trying to enjoy, over zap their senses, and they die in the process, or they become addicted and they become mental psychotic cases. One of the most famous drugs being sold across the world is antidepressant. You know that? It's not diseases, it's antidepressants. Very, very profitable business. And interesting that we talk about progress and economic growth as the parameter of happiness, right? The global sales of antidepressant drugs, you know which is the highest country? North America. 40% in the whole world. The next 30% is Europe. Again, industrialized, so-called forward, so-called clean roads, right? But they are in big mess. And the third is Asia. Again, Asia means Japan, which is again industrialized, South Korea, China, and now India. Wherever this so-called globalization, modernization, wealth, money goes, where we forget God, where we say ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā, right? Where I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, we come to that attitude, instantly we lose our happiness because we forget our original nature of being servant of Kṛṣṇa. And the third, last reason, we are not the controllers. See, so we are not the body, we are not animals, we have a higher nature, so we should practice Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Second, we are not the body is limited, it cannot give us any happiness. And third, we are not the controllers. Now many people say that, first two, this thing I don't agree, I am still enjoying, I can enjoy. Little bit enjoyment I am getting, right? So, they say that I am able to control so many things in my life. So there is a nice instructive story from Prabhupada. So once Prabhupada, as you know, Prabhupada would walk with his disciples, and so many times they would do play. So Prabhupada would challenge with a question, and the disciples would take the role of a atheist, like just to argue. So they were talking about progress in scientific communities. So they were saying, Prabhupada, we've made so much progress. So Prabhupada said, what is the progress? So they said, we can fly in the air. We humans can fly in the air. So Prabhupada said, as soon as the petrol is over, it will come down. Or even before petrol gets over, it can come down. So they said, no, but we have some control. We are able to control some things. Prabhupada made one very, very famous statement and very profound statement. He said, some control means no control. If we have some control in our life, it means we have no control. And we all know this in our own life, right? We have some control, but mostly we don't have any control. So I'll end with this. So there's a nice story. This happened. So brahmacharis were traveling somewhere, and their bus broke down. So when their bus broke down, actually they had to get into an auto. It's somewhere in the outskirts. So there's a 6-seater auto. So they all got in, and nicely this brahmachari sat, and a young boy and his father, they also sat in the auto. And it was kind of raining, very nice countryside, nice scenery. And the auto had this sheet, he had rolled that sheet to protect from rain. So the boy was actually trying to open it so that he can see, and water is going, and that small mist droplets, it's hitting the face. It was nice. But he would roll it up, and the auto was going, as he would see beautiful scene, and something would happen, it would roll down. So this boy was struggling, he was fixing, and so many times it was again going up, again coming down like that. He was trying for a long time. Finally, he managed it. Somehow he tried here and there, and finally it stood, and then he could see the scene. And as soon as he was enjoying that moment, the destination came. And then the father said, "Beta, ab chalo, we have to get on." And boy was crying, no, I just tried it, I have to enjoy now. Father said, "Nothing to do, you have to leave now." Now, our father, Kṛṣṇa, is also like that. So he comes in the form, if we are not devotees, he comes in the form of death. If we are devotees, he comes in the form of life. Because death becomes the stepping stone for devotees to go to eternal life. But if we are not devotees, then death is just an end of all our plans of enjoyment, like this young boy. So let us actually be wise, let us be intelligent, let us give food to this intelligence, whatever we are talking this, that intelligence is the speciality of humans. So we have to give food to this intelligence by doing what? Very simple, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the most important thing every day we have to do. This is the food for our intelligence. It is a food for our soul. Because we are giving food to the body, that is fine, but we are not giving food to the soul. So we have to do that every day without fail, okay? So we have Shiksha programs which are coming up. So when is our ceremony? Anyone is aware? Next Sunday, okay. So you can take vow in front of the Lord. You can because what happens when you take commitment to the Lord to chant, the Lord takes commitment that He will help you. Because when you take, I'll tell you, this is a very, very powerful thing. When you get connected to the parampara, the entire you come under the care and shelter and planning of the parampara. The parampara starts making plan. How to get this Jivatma back. It might take whatever time it may be, but you have the entire guidance. So that's what is Shiksha ceremony all about. That you come in front of the Lord and say, "Dear Lord, I'm wanting to surrender, right? I can't do it completely like Sarva Dharma Parityajya in one day, but I can surrender my free will to chant one round or next 4 rounds. If you're in 4 rounds, plan to come to 8 rounds and come to 16 rounds. It's very, very easy, because when you take vow, so many people say, "I can't chant 16 rounds, I don't have time." I do not agree with this. Everybody has time. If you make goals, the way comes through. If you don't make goals, everything becomes a problem. Because you're directionless, right? So that is what we need to do. Chant, take association, and give food to our intelligence. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.